Hello viewers, this is your host Shubhajit. We are here at YRF Studios right now and we are going to be talking to the one and only Manushi Chhillar for our upcoming movie Prithviraj.
So living up to those expectations and portraying that character, and this, when I was a student, I went to Miss India. I was working with Miss World. The whole look was there, and even with nuances. I mean, he used to tell me. He said that if you're having a conversation.
So hello dosto, welcome to the Bollywood talk show on IWMBuzz. This is your host Shubhajit. I have with me a very interesting guest over here. She has literally dominated the world before, and right now she's all set to dominate the film industry with her lovely charm and presence. I have with me the lovely Manushi Chhillar over here. First of all, welcome to the Bollywood talk show on IWMBuzz.
Thank you.
I have to tell this to you that, जितना मैंने देखा है ट्रेलर में, of course, that everybody is talking about it and there's nothing new to add from my end. But when I was talking to Akshay sir the other day, he mentioned it very clearly that for anybody, any performing artist who's working in his or her first movie, period film में काम करना आसान नहीं होता because you're not used to that timeline in general. So how challenging was it for you to first of all fit in a film of Akshay Kumar, because you know that there's like a baggage that you always carry, एक थोड़ा बहुत pressure रहता है, and additionally it being a period film. So how did you balance that both?
I think this being my first film it was already a challenge. I'd never acted before. So there was a lot to learn and there was a lot to do. But a character like Princess Sanyogita, she's someone we've all read about. People already have a certain, they have an image that what she would have been like. So living up to those expectations and portraying that character, and this is a script that Dr. Saab has been, has had for 18 years. So that responsibility that, he's been looking for a Sanyogita, and are you going to be that one person? He's really happy that he casted. And of course, acting opposite Akshay sir, watched so many of his films and I've been a great fan of him. And, for someone who's as experienced as him, you don't want to evidently look like the inexperienced one. So yeah, there were a lot of challenges, but I had the right team, I had the right people guiding me. I had Yash Raj, I had Adi sir, I had Vaibhavi ma'am guiding me through all the dances. I had Dr. Saab guiding me through the script, and of course Akshay sir, having launched. I think he told me that I'm the 22nd girl, that newcomer who's working with. So he knew that okay, what challenges a newcomer faces, and it's a set, it's a very new environment. So somewhere that also really helps. He makes you more familiar with where you're working. So I think all of these people that's where having experienced people helps. So it was teamwork. It was all of us together, and whenever it's the first time you do something, it's always a challenge.
But first is always special, as we always noted. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case. But I just want to continue from this point of view that you mentioned, that people already had a perception about how Princess Sanyogita is going to be. So. But you don't really want to stick to that perception, because at the end of the day, this is film, right? You can add your own, element to it as well. So how do you do that? Balance that.
I think whenever you talk about whether it's literature, whether it's theatre, film, poetry, at the end of the day, we weren't present. We weren't present in the 12th century. We've not met these people in person. If you look at a painting, or if you look at a story, they've traveled through time. They're all interpretations. हमने उनके बारे में पढ़ा है, पर पढ़ने के बाद आपका क्या interpretation होता है, वो सबका अलग होता है. Whenever we read a novel, we all have a different, and this is a very common example can be from Harry Potter. Much before watching the movie, a lot of us read the books. We all had a different image of what Harry Potter was like. But this is also history, so there are a lot of things you can't change. But this is more, film is a director's medium. This was Dr. Saab's vision. We had the Prithviraj Raso, which was used as a reference. So based on how Prithviraj, Samrat Prithviraj Chauhan, and how Maharani Sanyogita were described in the Raso, and all the other characters that were described. So that was taken as a reference. And of course, थोड़ी interpretation हमेशा author की या फिर एक director की, हर किसी की या artist की, हर किसी की एक अलग interpretation होती है. So I read about my character. I there were a lot of things that we can't show everything in a film, but there are a lot of stories attached to her, a lot of more details that a book can capture, which a movie cannot. So you get to know more about the character. You get to know and you try to understand why she did this, why this was relevant in that time, why she, how was she able to take such a big decision and actually go against her father. So I think that's something which I would also find unnatural in today's time. So all of that helps you understand. And at the end of the day, I hope that we've been able to balance out what people expect and how we interpreted the character.
Well, I hope that happens on 3rd June. I'm very hopeful about that.
Fingers crossed.
But I want to ask you this thing very particularly.
Yeah.
I mean, we have seen transitions like this where people have come from the modeling background and then they have actually, I would say, sent shockwaves in the Hindi film industry with their own good quality work. If I have to ask you one quality or one experience from your entire modeling industry that you're taking forward in movies and that learning has actually helped you to become a better performing artist.
Well, I'll just say one thing. This is a very common thing that common misconception. I was never a model.
Yeah.
When I was a student, I went to Miss India. I was working with Miss World, but I've never modeled per se. I've never been a professional model. But if I were to look at one learning that I got from, and I'd say from college, from Miss India, from Miss World, all these experiences that learning that has helped me is not to be afraid of challenges, because all of them were very different environments. It was pageantry was new to me, and I think I got to learn a lot. And then of course working with Miss World, competing at Miss World and then working with them were two very different things. And through that experience, what I brought to a film set was that I'm ready to learn. I accept the fact that I don't know anything about shooting a film. I've not acted before, but I think that attitude also helps you, because then you're open to learning new things.
Yeah. You mentioned this fact that you've never acted professionally that way. You don't come from an acting background that way.
Not really. I mean, as much as what we would do in school, a little bit of theatre. I used to go to a Sunday club which was done by the National School of Drama. So I did a year of theatre with them. Yeah. But film is very different. Yeah.
In terms of whenever you're playing a character which has historical relevance, it's not just about the way you speak, it's not just about the outfits that you carry, but it's also about the body language, and which is an integral part of acting. So what was the brief that was given to you at that point of time in terms of the body language?
I think that's the beauty of the way Dr. Saab visualizes his films. We have seen a lot of films that have been made on historical characters. Dr. Saab's forte is realism. And I think he was very clear. He said, this is not a fairy tale. This is not larger than life. He said, I want to show how actually they must have been, how I can interpret. Everything from the embroidery on my dress to the kind of sand that had been used for the sets, to a single tree. It was all checked when the sets of Kannauj, of Ajmer and of Delhi were created. Yeah. Everything was checked. And he said, I want to be authentic because, he's someone who loves research. And he said, if I have research, if I have access to so much information, even if maybe someone sitting in the audience will not be able to notice these tiny things. Yeah. He said, but this is my work and this is what I want to do. And he always told me this. Very, very small thing, even with when they discuss the look of the character. He said, no, he said every day, people will not wear heavy jewelry and sit. It's for festivals and for weddings. He said, if they're going to court, what would they be wearing? What did they actually wear? And he tried to stick to that. And I think, so the look of the character, they tried to make it as real, if they didn't have hair color and they didn't have hairspray and access to all of that. So how did they style their hair back then, or what kind of makeup products did they have access to? So all of that was discussed, and I think that's what we've tried to show in the film. Hopefully we've been able to do a good job at that, but the whole look was there. And even with nuances, he used to tell me, he said that if you're having a conversation, you're not going to stress so much on everything. It's going to be a normal conversation. You know, how would you talk to your father? How would you talk to your mother? How would you talk to your friends or to your lover? He said that this is what my vision is. You know, make it realistic, make it authentic, and that's what we've tried to do.
This sounds very fascinating and interesting, I must say. But you know, I have to ask you this. You know, of course, there was a lot of delay because of things which you can't really control. It's not in your hands. Did it teach you a thing or two about patience? And you know, because that is
a lot about
virtue
patience
that you need in the industry in the long run. Was it frustrating at one point of time?
I mean, of course, it does get, you know, when there's a certain pause and you've been waiting, and this was not like this was not a single shift. I think this is the fourth, like the third or the fourth time we announced a release date, and even now I'm like, okay, you know, we only have I keep counting days, and I'm like, now you guys, the trailer is out, now you guys cannot back out, but you can't back out. But I think I always considered myself to be a very patient person. I realized I'm not. After the lockdown, I realized, you can get impatient. And also when you're young, you have energy, you know, you want to do 10 things in life. Your career is just taking off. You don't want to be sitting at home and, I mean, hobbies are great. Yeah, there are other, and I did a lot of other things at that time. But when your primary profession is at a standstill, you know, you do feel a little. But then, I mean, I think it was a bad time for everyone. It's not something that just affected me, you know. So I think I'm just glad that I survived. I think, you know, people have lost a lot more than, you know, just their jobs. They've lost their lives in the pandemic. So I'm just happy that, okay, you know, that time is gone, and now I can actually look forward to new things.
Yeah. What has been the most interesting reaction from any of your particular, you know, family member? And like when they heard that, you know, you have actually backed this movie and this is where you're going to be visible. सबसे interesting reaction from your family member किनसे था? That is something I'm very excited.
I think everyone was happy.
Of course.
जब भी मतलब जब भी मैं कहती थी कि, and कई बार लोग मुझसे पूछते थे कि, you know, do you think you'll go into films or you'll continue studying? तो मैं हमेशा कहती थी, I'm thinking of continuing to study. पर उस वक्त आई थिंक मेरी मदर मुझे कॉल करती थी कि क्यों, वाई कांट यू ट्राई इन फिल्म्स एज वेल, वाई कांट यू लाइक ट्राई अदर थिंग्स एज वेल इन लाइफ. बट सबसे स्वीट रिएक्शन आई थिंक मेरी नानी का था. वेरी क्यूट. she called me and she said but she told me, but beta आप college नहीं करोगे क्या? And she asked me, she said, and you know, so she used to live 40 minutes away from my college. तो जब भी छुट्टी होती थी मैं उनके घर चली जाती थी. So she was so used to, you know, कि you know, Manu will come, she'll stay with me. So उनका बस ये था, she said कि अब वो इतना घर, you know, she's gone so far, she's gone off to Bombay, इतना घर नहीं आएगी क्या? But that was the only thing, you know, she just asked me, she said that, are you still going to like, अभी भी doctor बनना है या नहीं? But everyone was happy. I mean, she's seen the trailer, she's here in Bombay now. I think she's been jumping with joy every day. She keeps watching my videos, which is also scary. She keeps watching my videos on YouTube all day. But you know, they're all excited. पूरी फैमिली के लिए बहुत न्यू एक्सपीरियंस है. आई डोंट थिंक हमारे आसपास ऐसे कोई था जिन्होंने एंटरटेनमेंट इंडस्ट्री में कभी आने का एम किया था. सो उस हिसाब से आई फील लाइक everyone's excited, everyone's happy. You know, they've always been celebrating. They've always supported me through whatever I've done. So now also they're celebrating only.
Fortune favors the brave. You took that brave call and it's working out wonderfully for you.
Yeah, it's brave because it's turning out decent. Otherwise, it would have been called. I would have been called foolish.
Actually, you know, that's actually
too soon. Too soon.
Yeah, but touch wood, I hope it works in the right direction for you.
Yeah.
Last question, if I have to ask you.
Yeah.
If you actually had the opportunity, you know, to actually, you know, it's like a wish list where you can actually pick, this is the next director I want to work with, then this, then this. 3 top directors, if you have to pick that way, who would they be in a sequence?
Actually, they all know. Since I've spoken about Fairy Tale, I would love to work with Bhansali sir. I think the way he presents you is amazing, and from what I've heard and known, he does bring the best out of you, and I would as an actor I would want to be a part of his film. I feel I would absolutely I would love to work with Anand sir.
Yeah.
I think I really like the fact that he does pick a lot of complicated scripts. And I feel like as an actor, there are a lot of ways you can, there's a lot of ways there are a lot of ways that you can actually interpret those characters, and he does know I want to work with him. And I feel the third person, and most importantly, I have grown up watching Yash Raj films. I have grown up watching love stories, and I love the whole idea of doing a romantic film. And I really wish that Adi sir starts directing, and he directs a film very, very soon, and I hope I get to act in it.
Well, I hoke all that happens. 3rd June ke baad se everything, the universe works in your favor. Thank you so much for talking to us. It's
Thank
a pleasure.
you.
Wish you all the best. Guys, please watch Prithviraj on 3rd June. Thank you so much. Stay tuned on the Bollywood talk show on IWMBuzz. So guys, that was Manushi Chhillar. Please stay tuned and watch Prithviraj on 3rd of June, only in cinemas near you. Thank you.